Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another capsule selection. Today, we're going to dive into my favorite, I would say the most sensual and most sexiest spices in perfumery. This is a genre to me that comes off with the utmost of sex appeal. And notice I'm not going to talk about anything that's mass appealing or even super alluring. But when it is on your skin and on your body, this particular scent profile is one of the most sexy, carnal, animalic, and frankly, sexy to a point where it's suggestive. To me, this is the scent of Cumin. And if this sounds like the type of content you think that you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuance of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. We're going to dive into a list that is very, frankly, one of those most sensual and sexual of all scents and spices. This, for me, I think I'm going to title this particular video one of the sexiest, if not the sexiest spice in perfumery. These are fragrances in my collection that I have come to explore, expand my collection in, and understand that these are arousing, captivating, and carnal styles of fragrances because of this particular note of cumin. This is a scent that can go from anything to a very spicy to almost a sensual, animalic body odor type of scent. Now, nothing very off-putting, at least not in my collection. But the way that I've chosen my particular cumin fragrances, I can tell you this for sure. When I wear these particular fragrances and I have that particular aura and confidence around me and my scent profile, it's one that more often than not gets me into a place of allure, sexual, just the connotation of sexuality is in the air, and it almost always comes to a happy end. First, we're going to start out with my fragrance, Cruz Del Sur. This is a fragrance by the house of Zerof. Zerof makes some of the most fantastic fragrances on the market. This Italian brand has done so much for bringing forth great expansion to the community of knowledge and base of what their fragrances can do and what scent profiles are. For me, Cruz Del Sur is an evening at a posh, upscale winery and or steakhouse. And I say that not because of what it is and why the profile wears, but because of how it smells. This is a fragrance that comes off the smell. My pickup is of red wine. It has an accord of bergamot, an accord of cinnamon, cistus ladanum, cumin, dried fruits, grapes, leather, and rum. It smells like a very expensive fragrance indeed. It comes off so well, so performative. It dries down to this dry cedar and guaiac wood smell, but the castoreum and myrrh in the base of this, which culminates around the dried fruits and cumin, is one sensual fragrance for a go on list. Not a first date fragrance. None of these are first date fragrances. Second, third, and or already in love or have a lover, she's going to think these smell great on skin once it dries down and that 1 hour mark and it's coming off of you. It's a aphrodisiac, so to speak. So this one here, like I said, it smells like an expensive red wine, and this is Cruz Del Sur by the house of Zerof. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, we're going back to back with the house of Zerof, the second of a sub-genre for them. The first was Shooting Stars. This one is the genre that came about. It came about when they explored bringing Cumin into their actual house brand as far as Zerof. It was always owned by Zerof, but they brought it into their house brand. They use a lot of oud, but for this one, Ether is a gorgeous woody amber fragrance with some citrus tonality that has caramel and cumin. When I say a great smelling spicy gourmand with agarwood, orange, this is one of the sexiest fragrances in my collection actually. Cumin, Madagascar vanilla, lavender, lemon, mandarin musk, clary sage, rose, Gurjun balsam. It's this very carnal, sensual, sexy fragrance that comes off great in the mid-fall to winter evenings. I have yet to smell any fragrance like this in my exploration, and it comes off very, very sensual, alluring, and sexy, especially carnal sexuality. And that's what I keep wanting to bring up to you. When you're standing tall and firm in your confidence, this type of fragrance is one that's very, very sexy indeed. To me, when I wear these, and I wear them often in the winter and fall, sometimes in summer evenings and spring evenings, They come off very, very inviting, very, very alluring and sensual. And that's what I want in this type of fragrance. And this one here with the caramel, the cypriol, you know, the woody tonalities, the agar wood. But at the end of the day, it's that cumin, caramel, and like this woody sweetness that just is so sensual and sexy that you will be a head turner when wearing Ether. Once again, Ether by the House of Zerof. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this classical woody rose fragrance by the House of Labo. This is, in my collection, I only have 2 Labo fragrances, and they were meticulously curated. And this Rose 31 is one I picked up in 2015 first, and then got a second bottle of this one. This is what introduced me to Cumin as a sensual and alluring fragrance, and that is because of the 2 components of Bulgarian rose and the Masque rose that are in this particular scent. One of the best classical woody fragrances that has a rose component to it. It's very spicy, very sexy, very alluring, very confident in its wear. It has guaiac wood, which is, I continue to say, my favorite wood component in fragrances. This is just a woody rose spice bomb of a fragrance that comes off very alluring, very sensual, clean smelling in some senses because of the Bulgarian and the Masque rose, but it's a very beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Rose 31 by the House of Labo. All right, fellas, so next up, what we got here is a scent from the epic house of Amouage, and I use that as a punditry because this is Epic Woman. Now, I kindly call it Epic Universal because this is a unisex scent that I believe many men can pull off, including myself. I'd be pulling this one off. This is a scent that in that profile of masculine, unisex, feminine, unisex, leaning fragrance that runs straight down the middle, marketed toward women because of the Masque rose that's in this, but it's not one that comes off feminine leaning at all, especially if you're one that pulls for rose fragrances, which I do often. One of my most comfortable wearing rose fragrances is Epic Woman. This is a scent that goes off so well, very transportive, very sensual, very sexy in the way that it comes off. It's incense heavy. It's a soft, classical, ambery fragrance that has a lot of labdanum. And the thing about this one is the cumin in this one is one that it culminates to an opus, a magnum opus of sweet floral accords, slightly animalic leather, and the olibanum that she used that is very, very phenomenal. This is a scent that she also did that I like to wear with the incense Rory, which is their attar form of this one. It smells very similar, except it doesn't have a lot of the rose component, but has a lot of the effervescence and ethereal effect of the incense with the cuminous essence. Very, very sensual fragrance that I think many of you men should get your nose on, especially if you're into the incense and rose style fragrances. This one with that cumin, along with a special orris root, brings about one of the nicest formal wearing fragrances that you're going to have in your collection. Makes it very, very sweet, alluring. The synergy of the components that she used is phenomenal. She used a lot of great materials in putting this one together. And you know that Amouage is an incense accord fragrance house from Oman. The incense, along with that cumin, is one special formula. And I think Epic Woman is one should be on the radar of all you guys out there. So, gentlemen, next up, what we have here is Roja Parfums Danger. This is the Eau de Parfum edition. I think these are the ones that have been discontinued. I have to really research that because it's one that I haven't dove into as far as if they're available in some markets, because I have seen them readily for purchase in boutiques. But this is the EDP, not the EDT cologne concentration or the red bottle, as you can see, or the actual parfum. But this one here is the favorite of the formulations for me. I have smelled all 3. This is Danger. This is a classical, mossy, woody fragrance that has a lot of freshness to it. But what you get from this with that masculinity and that very polished effect is the ambergris, castoreum, and cumin effect inside of this one. And that cumin is one phenomenal. And I love saying that word about these particular spices and scents because the cumin in this one is very, very special. Roja is one of the houses that uses cumin the very best, in my opinion. He is one who has not only attracted me to the genre outside of Labo's Rose 31, but has continued to impress me with the way he uses that particular spice. Cumin is, like I said, one that is very special, transportive, carnal in its nature, but very, very well-rounded as a spice accord. And Danger does that spice accord perfectly. Mossy, a little bit of geranium, a little bit of jasmine, some eucalyptus. I think it's in this one, some tarragon. And tarragon, oh man, the tarragon in this one is phenomenal. The way it comes off, it's an ambery, herbaceous feel with the animalic tonality. Very, very well done scent. Once again, Danger EDP by the House of Roja Parfums. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have the scent Pegasus by the House of Parfums de Marly. Now, the one thing about this particular scent, this one is a fragrance that goes off very well in its aromatic fougere state. The cumin in this one is a very soft cumin. It's a very approachable way to use the spice. And I put this very high on this list. Not that I'm ranking these, but I put it very high because the way that it's used in its componentry, it comes off a sweet, harmonious blend for this particular style of fragrance. It's fougere-esque with a little bit of vanilla, jasmine, amber, bergamot, caraway, and cumin. So the caraway and cumin, to me, as I've seen them placed, and that's the one thing about this fragrance as well, you can see many different ways they put. Some put the caraway, some put the cumin, some put both. The caraway in this one / cumin is very subtly done, and it brings about a great masculinity to an otherwise powdery floral fragrance. And that for me is a phenomenal way to bring about the almond richness with that spicy nuance. So it's almost like a souk in the Arabian desert almost. So once again, Pegasus, very powdery, very polished, very posh, aromatic style of fragrance with a lot of lavender. The mosses in this one, some almond and heliotrope, bring about that sweet, almost metallic smell and feel to this components of the fragrance, while also having the spiciness and richness and depth of those particular spices, including caraway and cumin. So once again, get your nose on Pegasus, the original formulation, not the exclusive. The exclusive goes a little bit even more dirtier, richer, more depthful profile than the original. But this is the original which I'm speaking on. So once again, Pegasus by the House of Parfums de Marly. Next up, guys, we got Tango from the House of Masque Milano. Another scent done by the prolific Cecile Zerokian. She, when it comes to a lot of these spices, a lot of these heavy, rich, spiced fragrances, Cecile Zerokian has created a reputation for herself to be the go-to perfumer for these type of scents. She is the one who made Royal Tobacco. She is the one who has made many of our favorites. Many of the people in this community taught or use her as the figure, the profile figure, when using someone to categorize spicy, sweet, warm, and prolific fragrances. And Tango is one of the ones that really is a absolute aphrodisiac, an absolute stunner of a fragrance, and an absolute great use of the heavy, rich, and spicy nuance of cumin accords. She has a lot of black pepper, a lot of cardamom, along with the sweetness of benzoin, the amber accord, with a little bit of a leathery feel to it, while also staying very, very pitted in that cumin and patchouli rose combination of fragrances. And she did a phenomenal job in making this particular scent for the House of Masque Milano. Very phenomenal scent. I think that you guys should get your nose on this one. I know that they came out with the oud version. I have not to get my nose on that one, but when I do, I will be giving you guys an update on how that signature scent can go off in the wintertime. But for right now, Masque Milano Tango. Beautiful scent. Next up, guys, I know you guys hear the cicadas going all around me. These cicadas are coming out this particular late July. I love the sounds of nature, so I'm not going to pull back on being out here. I'm going to give this more and more attention because these particular sounds and smells of this nature are beautiful to me. What I have here, though, to speak on the continuation of cumin perfumes, Diaghilev by the House of Roja Parfums. Diaghilev is a beautiful animalic chypre perfume that goes off in the realm of some of the most phenomenal made fragrances to ever hit the market. If you are a person that loves masculine leaning, mossy, chypre fragrances with a lot of spice and depth to them, look no further than the House of Roja Parfums and the scent of Diaghilev. Styrax, tarragon again, vanilla, vetiver, ambrette seed, ylang ylang, rose from Grasse. They have Bulgarian rose, a lot of peach and cedarwood with heliotrope and patchouli. But the calling card to this one is that very beautiful moss with the very, very becoming spice accords of cumin and leather and clove. And that is, I swear, man, this is one of the sexiest, most well-polished, harmonious fragrances that I've smelled It is just that good when you get your nose on it. You have to have a mature nose. I will say that it's not one that is a mass appealing fragrances. Like I said in the beginning, these are not mass appealing fragrances. But if you are a collector on a journey to get some of the most beautiful fragrances that come as a calling card, as a statement maker, as a staple for your collection, I say look no further than the scent of Diaghilev from the house of Roja Parfums. Ladies and gentlemen, next up we got one of the most prolific fragrances in the community of fragrance connoisseurs and fragrance collectors. This is Andy Tauer's L'air du désert marocain. L'air du désert marocain is one of the most prolific, like I stated, fragrances in the FragCon. This here, my bottle's about 9 years old, maybe even 10 at this point. It had to be like 2014, 2015-ish when I picked up this fragrance. It was one of the most talked about hype beasts, when that word actually came out of being a hype beast fragrance. Andy Tauer made this beautiful fragrance with the title being its most unique aspect to bring to fragrances, and it was telling us about how we could be more transportive, bring those journeys and adventures together. And it was one that really made fragrance connoisseurs seek out certain fragrances in this profile, because it showed us a way to travel without ever leaving our home. L'air du désert marocain is the scent of the desert air of Morocco, and it pinpoints everything spectacularly the way he wanted it to smell, and the way this community grabbed this fragrance and ran with it shows how just harmonious the blend is, how beautiful it is, how the ambers mix with the spices, and just how gorgeous it wears for a 10-hour time span on your skin. This was touted to be one of the first EDT intensives that I'd ever heard of, and that name has become synonymous with a lot of designer fragrances now. But he used this, and it performs like an eau de parfum with great projection, great sillage. But the most phenomenal part about this one is that journey that it takes you on of the Moroccan desert. The cumin in this one, along with the rose, the amber, the labdanum, the coriander spice, the petitgrain, everything about this particular scent puts it in a category of one for a lot of people. This is for a lot of people a top 10 fragrance, not only for the animalic slash I would say adventurous take on the fragrance. I wouldn't necessarily say animalic. It doesn't go funky or even to a point of too leathery or anything like that. There is something here that you have to have gravitas, a certain amount of professional polish, and a certain amount of confidence to wear it. But if you do have that, feminine, women, men, anyone can wear this particular scent, and it comes off great in the air. Number 2, L'air du désert marocain by Andy Tauer is one phenomenal cumin, coriander, spice, labdanum, ambery fragrance that gets a lot of compliments as well, gentlemen. Sexy, sensual, carnal. This is the fragrance, of course, the sexiest spice of all, cumin. L'air du désert marocain. Ladies and gentlemen, last on this list, this is a fragrance that, if you ever take an account of what I tell you is my number 1s and number 2s, this particular scent is number 2 fragrance in my entire collection. This is number 3 by the house of Roja Parfums, affectionately known as De La Nuit, number 3. I'm going to read you the actual note list, and this is for me, if I was to ever produce a perfume for the market, this is the note list that I would use. It goes with my favorite wood, guaiac wood, amber, saffron, amyris, cedarwood, cypriol / narcomalta, incense, olibanum, sandalwood, benzoin, cistus labdanum, cumin, gurgeon balsam, rose, artemisia, bergamot, juniper berries, leather, patchouli, and styrax. What else can you say? Just what else can you say? Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous, simply spectacular fragrance when it comes to spice accords, slightly leathery, slightly herbaceous. You know, the way that this particular bottle of perfume has matured in my collection over the last 7 years, and the way that I have grown to appreciate it, not only from first sniff as being the fragrance that I loved when I got it, sampled it, knew I wanted it, set out, put a pace out to actually not have to break the bank, but actually put forth a collection of dollars and cents to get this in my collection. And it is the most expensive bottle in my collection because I did pay retail for this at that point. It, for me, is one phenomenal fragrance. This, for me, is the note accords and note structures of the perfect perfume. Once again, De La Nuit number 3 comes off sweet, warm, woody, spicy, leathery, and it is the sexiest, wearing fragrance in my collection. When I want to feel sexy, not alluring, not just adjacent to sensual, not just adjacent to comfortable, not just adjacent to attractive. When I want to feel masculine, sexy, appealing, thought-provoking, no innocence about me. I want to be looked at and perceived as the most handsome, daring, and daunting gentleman in the room. De La Nuit number 3 with a black suit, black shirt, open collar, black loafers. This is that fragrance, and it is a gorgeous cumin spiced, astringent, austere, sexy, sensual, uplifting, vibrant, just the vibrations that you get from this particular scent. De La Nuit number 3. Gorgeous, gorgeous wearing fragrance. I suggest you guys, if you have an opportunity to get your nose on this particular scent, you will be doing yourself justice in understanding what perfect formulations is, in my opinion. Once again, number 3 by the House of Roja Parfums. Ladies, gentlemen, I hope you guys had fun with this particular list. This is the list of what I was affectionately starting to call it, am going to call the sexiest spice in perfumery. This list is one that I really wanted to put forth to you guys coming for the next season. It is one that I think any one of you gentlemen and ladies watching this particular channel, if you trust my opinion and you've seen these fragrances, they range in anywhere from $100 to up to $1,300 to $1,400, but there's somewhere in that budget that you will find the perfect cumin spice fragrance for your opportunity to wear and create a bond, a sexual carnal bond with someone that you're looking to be sexy and carnal with. Always, as always, I enjoyed getting this video out to you guys. If you found anything educational or entertaining about this particular video, all that I ever ask that you do, hit the like button, subscribe, send this off to a friend that loves this perfume game, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.